home of the former Republican nominee who Jose Garza defeated in 2020. So they had to find a new person who had not been charged with a felony drug offense to give it another try, and they have. This new Republican removal statute only applies to supposed offenses that are committed after its effective date last September. This petition, on its face, alleges no valid cause of action because it does not complain of any misconduct by Jose Garza after the statute was enacted. The petition was reviewed by a district judge in one of the most Republican counties in the state of Texas, who agreed to appoint another Republican to try to prevent the will of Travis County voters from being realized. And that Republican judge himself is a bit unusual, since he sought to be elected to the Court of Criminal Appeals and was defeated in the Republican primary. Nevertheless, Greg Abbott has appointed him as the administrative judge to consider matters of this nature. Now this Abbott Republican judge will appoint another Republican judge of his choosing from outside Travis County to decide on the removal. So if one Republican who appointed another Republican to remove our district attorney, who's Democratic, with this dismissal request approved by yet another Republican, then their great Republican leader, Greg Abbott, will be able to appoint another Republican to take over as our district attorney. And that, by the way, is the same Governor Abbott who a few years ago declared that he had to go across the county line into Williamson County before he could smell freedom. It's like a long-distance relay, with Republicans passing off a baton of wrongs wrapped in local interference to the next Republican. You don't have to agree with every decision of Jose Garza. In fact, you don't have to agree with any decision that Jose Garza has made as district attorney to know that this is wrong. Very, very wrong. Like the very selective view of elections that Republicans have, they have the same attitude about local control. They only believe in elections they win. They only believe in local control if it follows their dogma. And so whether it is a plastic bag ban, a health care order, a zoning requirement, or in this case, our district attorney, they believe in overruling the decision of local officials whenever it doesn't fit their dogma. And there's another key consideration here, a very key consideration. One of the main allegations in this petition against our district attorney is his stated unwillingness to prosecute abortion complaints. Anti-choice Republicans are on a crusade across America. As you know, in Arizona, they want to drag people backwards, not just a few years, but all the way to the Civil War, to 1864. And in Alabama, families that want to have a baby are denied access to IVF. In Washington, I see them at work where a majority of House Republicans, a heavy majority of House Republicans, insist on a national abortion ban as draconian as that in Alabama that would deny IVF. The outrageous overruling of Roe against Wade was followed by a letter by 4 district attorneys, in addition to Mr. Garza, saying that they would not prosecute healthcare providers who thought the best thing for their patient was to have access to abortion health care. So what this means is that if a Republican can be successful in Travis County on these trumped up charges, pun intended, then they will be trying to replace one prosecuting attorney after another in other urban areas in Texas with trumped up charges and Greg Abbott replacement Republicans. And why stop there? This next legislative session may well be more extremist than the last one, though that's hard to believe. But mayors are political elected persons who supervise a political subdivision of the state. There's nothing to stop this extremist legislature but the valiant efforts of the members of our delegation who are here from new legislation to allow the governor to replace the mayor in our cities. For now, all that we can really do as elected officials is to expose the wrong that is taking place here and the far-reaching impact that it can have not just in Austin but across Texas. Republican extremists should not be able to veto the decision of Travis County voters. Greg Abbott shouldn't be able to pick a Republican replacement for our district attorney. We'll be monitoring every aspect of this troubling process and looking for every legal avenue to prevent official misconduct, the official misconduct of Republicans from that being imposed on our community. The dean of our great Travis County legislative delegation, who faces such daily adversity here, is Donna Howard, and I welcome her to our event.
Thank you, Congressman. I have only brief comments. You heard it very well from the Congressman. I am Donna Howard. I'm State Representative for House District 48 here in Travis County. DA Garza is a duly elected public official who was recently re-elected by an overwhelming majority of Travis County voters. The actual constituents House Bill 17 was supposedly passed to protect. However, it took a former political opponent living out of state soliciting a Travis County resident on social media to file a petition for this sham process to be initiated. Last session, I and the rest of my Travis County Democratic colleagues stood firmly against House Bill 17 because we knew it could be misused to target DAs for political reasons under the guise of policy disagreements rather than actual misconduct. District attorneys are expected to use their judgment to pursue justice, including deciding which cases to prioritize based on the law and local needs. No DA prosecutes all crimes. All DAs use prosecutorial discretion to determine how best to serve those who elected them within their available resources. Discretion is part of the job for all Texas DAs. Removing DAs for policy decisions undermines the independence and integrity of the judicial system and erodes the public's trust. Furthermore, giving any semblance of credibility to efforts like these has the potential to embolden lawmakers and those in power to remove elected officials who do not align with their political views or legislative agendas. We must stop the constant politicization of every aspect of government. The more we encourage and allow impartial processes to become tainted with politics, the more fragile our democracy becomes. Accountability is rightfully ensured at the ballot box, and Travis County voters have spoken. I will now introduce my colleague, Representative Lulu Flores. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lulu Flores, and I represent Southeast Travis County in District 51, and I serve on the Judiciary and Civil Jurisprudence Committee. And back when they brought this bill to us in committee during session, I knew then that it was wrong and misguided, and argued that and voted against the bill. But of course, we're outnumbered for every vote, and a 5-4 decision. And so of course the bill made it onto the House floor. And sure enough, it got passed because once again, we are outnumbered there as well. So it's no surprise that it passed the almost all Republican Senate as well and was signed by the governor. So this bill is wrong. It was wrong then, and it is wrong now, and it was for exactly those points that were raised by Congressman Doggett and by our Dean Donna Howard, that this can be used as a political weapon whenever they choose, and it will be used, and it'll be used improperly. And we need to make sure that when they try this, that we stand up against this, because as Donna said, as the Congressman has said, the voters have spoken. DA Garza won his primary overwhelmingly, and so we need to respect the voters of Travis County, and Democratic districts like mine need to be represented in this state capitol. And this coming session, they want to exclude us from representing our constituents, and that's dead wrong, and we're going to stand up to this abuse. So that's all I have to say, and I'll hand it over to my colleague, Vicki Goodwin.
Thank you. I'm Representative Vicki Goodwin from House District 47. Really, everything has been said that I wish to say, but I want to highlight that the voters came out at election time, and that's our voice, that's our power to choose our elected DA. Making the process to remove an elected DA so simple is ridiculous. Using House Bill 17 to remove our duly elected district attorney is not merely an overreach, but it disregards the choice made by our community. This issue transcends the fate of a single official. As Congressman Doggett said, where does this end? We have to recognize also the financial burden that this process imposes. The costs associated with these legal challenges are substantial, diverting necessary resources from crucial county services and initiatives. As legislators, it's imperative that we consider the economic impact and strive for the responsible use of our taxpayer dollars in all governmental actions. We as legislators cannot and will not stand by as the voices of Travis County voters are silenced by legislative maneuvers that threaten to undermine our democratic processes and fiscal responsibility. I'm fully committed to fighting against these efforts that seek to invalidate the expressed will of our electorate. And with that, I will turn it over to Representative Cheryl Cole.
Thank you. I'm Cheryl Cole, and I represent House District 46. Our district attorney has been a stalwart supporter of our democratic values. In my district, it is important that we keep him in office. He has stood up against prosecuting people who do not fully consider a woman's reproductive rights, and has pledged not to prosecute people who desire an abortion in this county. Now, we know that the Republican leaders of this state are angry about that, but that is a different policy view than my district, and we are entitled to have that voice represented. This DA has also stood up against prosecuting low-level crimes such as marijuana small amounts. That means a lot to the constituents in my district who are often brown and black. So this county has spoken, and we cannot let the Republicans remove him. Thank you.
Any questions? Of course. Sure.
Hi there. My name is Austin Kaplan. I'm an employment and civil rights attorney. I represent Kate Cox, the brave woman in Texas who needed a medically necessary abortion and was denied. We brought the case to court. I also represent Amanda Zarowski and multiple other Texas women who needed medically necessary abortions and could not get the care they needed in Texas. Make no mistake, this petition is another assault on reproductive freedom against the women of Texas. This petition seeks to remove a DA for refusing to prosecute doctors who provide medically necessary treatment to their patients, and it is outrageous. This petition is also an assault on democracy in Texas. It's an assault on the voters who overwhelmingly elected Jose Garza in the Democratic primary. And it is, as Congressman Doggett pointed out, legally insufficient. There will be time to address this in a court of law, but there has been no chance yet to pass on the constitutionality of HB 17, a bill that steals from the voters the right to elect their preferred local elected officials and steals from law enforcement the right to police their communities the way the communities seek to be policed. So the legal system will play itself out in due time, but make no mistake that what you are seeing here is a watershed moment in Texas. It is an assault on our democracy. It is an assault on our reproductive freedoms. It is an assault on everyone in Texas, and I hope everyone is paying close attention to what happens in this case. And we're here for any questions on the legal issues as well.
We've heard this characterized as being led by MAGA or Republicans, yet the woman who filed the petition has said she's not a Republican, she's not MAGA. So how would you respond to the petitioner's comment saying she's not Republican?
I'd respond, maybe others. I don't know the complainant. My understanding is, as Representative Howard indicated, she was solicited, as were others, on social media. She may have a complaint against the district attorney, and it is her right to file the petition. I would say this petition, complete with typographical errors, clearly has Republican origins, and the goal is to impose a Republican on Travis County voters and then to move on to the other counties in the major cities in Texas to do exactly what Austin just said, and that is to be part of the anti-choice movement to interfere with the healthcare rights of women. Thank you.
Question, I believe it was Representative Forrest who said this, but anyone can answer this. Something to the effect of this is a law that could be weaponized to get rid of certain politically motivated prosecutors, something to that effect. Is there an implementation of this law that you see would not be weaponization? Mostly just a curiosity.
I'm going to let the brilliant legal mind here. I am an attorney, but he practices in this area. So it is weaponization, and it could be used, misused as it is being now. I'm sure there might be an opportunity where there might be egregious misconduct by a district attorney, whereby his constituents can file a petition, but I'll let him answer the details.
Before HB 17, there already was a way to remove elected officials that were guilty or were presumed to be guilty of misconduct. What HB 17 did, and this is a page from the attack on the reproductive freedoms of Texas that we saw in SB 8. What HB 17 did was deputize every single person in Texas to go after every single prosecutor in Texas. It makes no sense. There are 254 counties. There are untold numbers of prosecutors, considering DAs and county attorneys, and all of them now are subject to attack from unknown relators across Texas for their decisions made in consultation with their own populations, made in a way that serves what they need to do in their counties. That's what we are looking at here in this. And to your earlier point, the relator in this case, standing in the shoes of the state of Texas. Anyone can file, and then the state of Texas is really the plaintiff. So the focus is really on the state going after its own elected prosecutors and essentially destroying any kind of input from local communities about how to police and how to make sure our communities are safe and appropriately policed across Texas.
While you're still at the mic, I'd love to ask a quick follow-up, if that's okay. You
Sure.
mentioned something about the constitutionality about this case. Obviously, if the chips keep falling, this is actually going to be a legal battle, but would you consider filing a lawsuit actually debating the merits of the constitutionality of HB 17?
Well, I think we are early days, of course. There will have to be a defense mounted, and there's a whole process to go through. But no one has yet looked at the constitutionality of HB 17, and it's a particularly high bar here where you are substituting a single elected judge for the entire will of the voting population. So that's certainly something we're going to look at.
It's a great answer. I just would amplify on it in this way. Obviously, you want a process to exist if we have a corrupt public official. And that process, as Austin explained, has long existed in Texas, and it's been used in Texas. It's not a desire to get someone out who's really guilty of official misconduct. It is to set up this trumped-up system where the people of the county in which that official is alleged to have engaged in misconduct have little or no say. Now, they can't deny a Travis County jury, because of the Texas Constitution, from having a say on any factual issues. At the moment, I don't think there is a factual issue. This petition shows on its face that it has no grounds because it alleges no misconduct after September of last year. But this process of allowing one Republican out of county to engage another Republican out of county and then say it has to be an out of county judge is all about suppressing the will of voters, not just in Travis County, but in every major city in Texas. Any others?
Congressman, when the DA was sworn in, just like every office holder in Texas, they're taking an oath. Part of the oath is to uphold and defend the laws of the state. So when the DA says he's just not going to prosecute certain things, is he not violating his oath? Republicans would say so, but you know that, right?
Well, I'll let others respond as well, but I think the district attorney had a chance to make his case to the people of this county. We think that the attempt to interfere with women's health care and the right to access to an abortion, if that's what a healthcare provider says, is a valued remedy. And I think the district attorney is fulfilling his oath, but again, there's nothing alleged in this petition that he has in any way violated his oath since this statute went into effect. Thank you. Any others? Got a lot of other experts up here. If not, we really appreciate your coming out, and I know you'll follow this story, and we're all available to talk to you individually. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Really good point to supplement what this is really about for you. Thank you all. Austin, I'm sorry, I apologize for cutting you off. Thank you.
Please do.
God, what great work you've done on those cases.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, yeah, you're
really,
busy. We
really,
appreciate
we
you.
do appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
So critical. We just have to keep pushing back. It's interesting how the Republicans are now trying to